You guys know these guys. Oh, yeah. You know, I tell you honestly, the beauty of CIY, the genius of CIY is not what happens center stage. It's not about Jordan. It's not about Danny. It's not about Dustin. It's not about me. Honestly, it's about our leads on each campus, these guys right here. So I think you guys know from Surprise, K.O. Garrison. Yeah? Surprise. East Valley, Eric. Yeah? Johnny Wogan, Scottsdale. Chandler coming up. Chandler, yeah. Justin, we got this right from the Midtown. Jordan. Come on, anybody? You know about Anthem? You know this guy? Justin Doyle, Avondale. And anybody know from Peoria, Ron Sanders? Hey guys, seriously, I don't care if anybody listens to this. I just want you to know, we know what you do, and we totally love what you do. The leadership you provide. This is the magic and the genius of CIY. So thank you so much. Hey, listen. There's a reason I have them up here, aside from us just recognizing them. One of these guys really, to me, represents the story of Peter. We're talking today, theme is failure. We've all been there. We will all be there again. And one of these guys actually, yeah, I want you to guess. One of these guys has we'll just say a colorful past. He has actually been arrested not once, not twice, 5 times. 5 times. This guy's like been in handcuffs, in a police car, nights in jail. Anyone want to take a guess who that might be? Cale, I'm hearing you. He's the all-American boy. Hot dogs, apple pie, and baseball. Come on. You really think it's Cale? Now, Ron, he's got some, yeah, he's old enough to actually have been arrested several times. Who do you think, Doyle? I mean, Doyle lived in Kentucky for a while. It could be some bootlegging back there. Jordan? There's no way it's Jordan. All right. Will the person, the youth pastor, the Peter of the group, who's been arrested 5 times, please identify himself by stepping forward?
They're so excited for you.
Why are you applauding for that? Thanks for coming out, guys. You know, one of the cool things about Johnny is he has no secrets in his life, and he's given permission to say anything. And part of what makes him such a great youth pastor is his ability to relate to whoever comes in, whatever you're going through. He's been there. We're talking, if it's drugs, he understands that. If it's arrest, he understands that. If it's sexual immorality, he understands. He's not proud of it, but he does get it. And the point I want to get at, like I'll just give you the end of the message, failure is never final. Because your deepest pit can become your highest platform. And I just want to celebrate with Johnny right now what God has done in his life to bring him out of the pit to a platform where he can bring people to Christ. So just have a seat here. So let's talk about that for a little bit. I want to tell you the story. Most of you already know it, about when Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And you probably know about, being in the courtyard and a girl comes up and he says, I swear to God, I don't know him. But do you know the backstory? Because that was in the morning. That was a Friday morning when Jesus was crucified, and when he was in his trial, like early in the morning, Peter denies. But the night before is where it really all started. And it was in upper room. Jesus is there with his 12 apostles, and they're having this last meal. And Jesus is Like he understands what's about to happen to him. The other guys, they're completely ignorant. They think that this is a celebration meal. Yeah, we made it to Jerusalem, and Jesus is going to make it to the throne tomorrow. He's going to make it to the throne during Passover. No, he's going to make it to the cross. They are so out of touch with reality. But Jesus, I want you to hear his words, because for him, he sees everything. He knows everything that's about to happen. When the hour came, Jesus and his apostles reclined at a table. And he said to them, I've eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. There's no secrets, cards on the table, but they can't hear it. For I tell you, I will not eat of it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of God. And they just don't get it. So Jesus goes on, he goes, okay, you need to understand, one of you at this table, this is a small table, 13 men, Jesus, 12 apostles, one of you at this table will deny me. You will betray me tonight. Oh, you should have been there. They started buzzing like, is it him? Is it him? Here's the mistake. No one said, is it me? They all said, is it him? And the conversation, this is crazy talk. The conversation quickly went from who is the betrayer, who is the one who will betray Jesus, to who is the best. Literally, it says here in verse 24, a dispute arose among them as to which of them was considered the greatest. And they started arguing. Like, who does that? Unless you're a boxer, like, I am the greatest. I swing like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Who does that? Well, John did. And John's going, look, you all know I'm in the inner three. Like, you know I am the apostle Jesus loves. So just get over it, get out of the way. I'm number one. And James is going, bro, wait a minute. What about me? You're number two. Okay, I'll be number one. You be number two. And Peter's going, hello? I hold the water walking record of the world. No. All these guys are starting to argue who is the greatest. And Jesus puts Peter in his place. Verse 31, Simon, Simon. Notice that's his old name, not his new name. You learned last night about his new name, Peter, the rock. He doesn't call him the rock because right now he's dust. He's not a rock. Simon, Simon. Satan has asked to sift you as wheat. Dude, you know you're in trouble when Satan makes a personal request to destroy you. And Jesus says, but I prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. But he replied, Lord, I'm ready to go with you to prison and to death. And Jesus said, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you'll deny me 3 times that you know me. Now, when Peter said, I'll die with you. Jesus, you don't understand. So first of all, whenever you say, Jesus, you're wrong, party foul. Like, that's just a bad move to tell Jesus he's wrong. But Jesus, you don't understand. I will die with you. And he wasn't kidding. Just an hour, maybe 2 hours later, he's in the garden, and Judas comes up and kisses Jesus on the cheek to identify him. And Peter's going, you filthy betrayer. He's just mad. He still has the butcher's knife that they used to carve the Passover lamb. He's got it underneath his tunic, and he just pulls it out against Malchus. Now, Malchus is a big deal. He was the personal servant of the high priest. And it says that he cut off his ear. Now, let's just be serious about this. Do you really think, Johnny, you're one of these like Peter types. You're all in, baby, right? If you had a knife, would you cut off someone's ear? It's like, stop that. No. Here's what you're doing. You draw it from your left hip, right? He's going, whoa! He's trying to give him a haircut at the collarbone. It's just that Malchus was faster than Peter. Peter's getting to be an old man, a lot of fishing nets, And he ducks and glances, and his ear pops off, and Jesus picks it up and blew in his ear and pops it back on, and everyone's like, Peter should have been arrested for assault and battery, but there's no longer any evidence but a trickle of blood, and who's going to believe that? So Peter gets away with it, but Jesus says, Peter, put the sword away. Put it away. If you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. And Peter's standing there with no weapon. He doesn't know about prayer. He doesn't know about faith. He doesn't know about suffering. All he knows is biceps and brute force. And when Jesus takes his weapon away, Peter's undone. And they rip Jesus' arms behind his back and they tie him up like a common criminal. And all the apostles, they just bolt. They ditch him. And they run away. And Peter, he does too, but he doesn't run far. Like, Johnny, this is part of your story. You ran away, but you were always in the shadows because you loved Jesus, but you just didn't know how to honor him. In those days of pot and in those days of sexual immorality, like, you love Jesus, but you're in the edges, you're in a corner, you're keeping an eye on him. And what Peter does is actually pretty noble. He follows Jesus from a distance. He's ducking behind shrubs and fences and pillars. And he sees that he goes into the courtyard of Caiaphas. And Peter, he's not a coward. He's a man's man. He actually gets a pass to go into the courtyard. And you understand, there's only one gate into the courtyard. And then in the courtyard, it's surrounded by buildings all around. And in one of those rooms right back there is Jesus is getting interrogated and beaten right now. And Peter kind of kneels down around a charcoal fire, and he's warming himself around the fire. And you know who else is around the fire? The very soldiers that were in the garden that arrested Jesus. And Peter is just steaming. He is there. Listen, he is there to rescue Jesus. As stupid as that sounds, he believes that Jesus needs him. His motives are good. And there's 3 lessons I want to give to you because all of you have either experienced failure or you're about to. Not just any failure, you will do things that you never thought you would do. Like you swore, God, I will never do that. Johnny, how'd that work for you? Because you swore, here's a line, like I'm not going to cross this line, but you crossed it. And all of us, me included, you included, Johnny included, all of us find ourselves flat on our back, just with the breath knocked out of us going, oh God, did that really just happen? Here's the first thing that you need to understand, is that your worst sin almost always has a good motivation behind it. You're not evil, but you make mistakes. You cross lines. How does that happen? Because good motivations don't protect you from bad decisions. Good motivations don't protect you from bad decisions. Guys, I know that a lot of you dudes, you're trying to befriend someone who's outside of Christ, and that is so good. That is so good. But what happens is what is unimaginable in the upper room becomes unmanageable in the darkness of the courtyard. I want to say that again. I want that to sink in. What is unimaginable in the upper room becomes unmanageable in the darkness of the courtyard. Like right here at CIY, if I said, oh yeah, you're going to have 3 lovers before you're 20. No, that's unimaginable. Here it's unimaginable. But your good motives in the wrong company can lead you to a place where you will make devastating decisions for your life. And I want to talk to you young ladies for a minute because you are very prone to this. Ladies, you need to know what I think about you. Every young lady I see on this campus, I look at you and I just go, you're perfect. Like, you're perfect. You? Perfect. God made you so perfect, so beautiful, so from the inside out, lovely to the core. But being perfect doesn't mean you aren't foolish. Now, some of you are acting like fools right now. I want to tell you why. You are dating a guy that you want to fix up. You want to help him come to Jesus. You want him to help him know God. It's a good motive. It's a foolish decision. And I want to tell you, ladies, what is unimaginable in the upper room will become unmanageable in the courtyard because he will take you places that you never intended to go, and maybe he never intended to take you. And I don't care if you're sitting next to him right now. In fact, especially if you're sitting next to him right now, you should break up with him before lunch. Now, I hear you. I know that's a hard decision, and it may sound cruel. You're going, but how will I fix him? Listen carefully. The quickest way to fix him is to dump him. And you think, what if I lose him? Like, what if he walks away? If you can't fix him by breaking up with him and saying, I deserve better than this. I deserve a man who is on fire for Jesus Christ, who is at the same spiritual level. I deserve that. And when you are that, you come back and we'll get back together. If he's not willing to give you that now, if he walks away, he has just proven that you cannot fix him. Because your best chance of fixing him is for him to go without you. You're already giving him what he wants. Why would he change? And if you're already giving him what he wants, you've already crossed the line. You've already said that my values, the core of who I am, I will change for you. You've already told him you'll change for him. Why would you ever expect that he would then change for you? You've already told him you'll be the one to change. Do you see how foolish that is? You are too perfect, too good, too valuable to make that kind of foolish mistake. I know it's hard, but if you break up today, I promise you that is your best chance of doing the right thing for him. Guys, you make the same mistake with other dudes. Now, I'm not saying to not have friends who aren't Christians. You absolutely should. But I'm saying your inner circle should be those who have your same value for Jesus Christ. Because whoever you're around the campfire with, they will determine your choices. Please hear me say this. This is wisdom beyond your age, I know. But do you have ears to hear? Please hear me say this. Between the ages of 14 and 24, the only real choice that you have is your friends. Every other choice that you make will be made in the circle of the campfire. And you will do things in the courtyard that are unmanageable, that in the upper room were unimaginable. Now, the second lesson that you need to learn from this is this girl comes, she's the gatekeeper. Which you think, why would it's probably 12, 13 years old. Why would they have a 13-year-old girl be the guard at the gate? Answer, there are two things that 13-year-old girls are good at. Staying up late and screaming. I rest my case. So she comes over to Peter and she goes, you were with him. You're one of them. She is a teeny bopper. He's a big, rough and tumble fisherman. He's ready to fight 600 men with one sword. Peter's not real bright, but he is real brave. And yet a teeny bopper, a girl, knocks him off his game. And he goes, I don't know the man. Lesson number 2. What trips your trigger is less than you think. What trips your trigger is less than you think. She's a little girl. He is a grown man, and yet she got him to shout, I swear to God, I don't know him. You will be stunned at how little it takes to make you cross a line that you swore to God you would never cross. And it will undo you. At that very moment in the story, it says that Peter looked through the door and saw Jesus. They made eye contact. And Jesus had been beaten. His face was swollen. His nose may have been broken. Blood is dripping down his beard. And he looked at Peter, and the cock crowed twice. And he was undone. And for some of you, that's where you are. It's like, oh my God, what did I just do? How did I get here? And Peter ran out into the night and he wept bitterly. And some of you, I'm sorry to say, you know that all too well. And if you don't yet, you will soon. So here's a third lesson you need to know. Please hear me say this. failure is never final. Failure is never final. In fact, you know the story of Peter. And just like my friend Johnny here, if he can take Johnny, arrested 5 times, drugs, alcohol, perversion, and make him one of the most successful youth pastors in the country, what can he do with you? Your story's not written yet. Your story's not final. And Johnny, I want to read this to you. We've already read the verse. But here's what Jesus does for you, and here's what Jesus does for every Humpty Dumpty out there. Just think about this. Jesus says, I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you've turned back, strengthen your brothers. Jesus Christ, in your worst moments, was praying for you.